we're back again with these heaters. So the consensus was this is a thermal fuse. And that's certainly what it looks like to me. I just can't believe that something of this caliber has a cheesy fuse as opposed to a resetting switch. I suppose this could potentially be replaced. I don't know how you would make that connection though. There's probably some special tool that will recrimp something like this, but I don't have it. So what we're going to do for now is I'm just going to try to jumper it out with this piece of wire. These elements are also still available, I guess still under manufacture, and they're not that expensive. I think you can get them for about $15. So if I find that these work really well and that I might have some kind of practical application for it, it might just be worth replacing the elements. Okay, I think that should do it. I guess all this dust is the reason why the fuse blew. Well, it's really not all that much. If that's all it takes to blow the fuse, that's a little ridiculous. Well, let's see if we can make it work now. Now we'll check and see what the resistance is at this point. See if we get a more normal reading. We're getting 10, which is a much more normal reading. So I think that this will work. It went just like that. I don't even remember now. It's been... I should have gone back and reviewed the video. That wouldn't even make any sense. Oh no, I forgot how these go. Well, it's definitely at least backwards because the threaded hole is there, so this have to at least go like that. And I'm going to say this probably goes in here. And this, I don't understand what that does. It really doesn't make any sense. No, this has to go on this side. I can see the marks where this was. This has to go like this on this side. So that means this needs to end up like this. That's how it's going to have to go. Nope. Because those holes have to go like this then. And I should really attach it to the other unit because that's the one that I already cut the leads off. Man, these heaters are really beating me up. Wow. Oh gosh. Okay, and now this is going to go over here like this, and it looks like this screw is going to grab the element. And then this screw is just going to grab the housing. Okay. Now that debacle's over with, let's go ahead and plug this in and see if it explodes. I really do wonder why it tripped out initially, because there wasn't all that much dust in there. And this isn't something where, you know, it can be like misused or tipped over or something like that and block all the airflow. I'm really just astonished that something like a, you know, fairly permanent fixture like this is protected by a stinking thermal fuse as opposed to a resetting switch. I mean, basic cheap piece of garbage fire hazard space heaters have resetting switches usually. And I think that these are fairly expensive and higher end models too. I can't remember now if the housings from the fans were in the pile or not. They probably were. Now I wish I had grabbed them, because I do have a project where I need 2 ducted fans to move air around, and potentially I could use those. But I can't use them now because they've probably been long discarded at this point. So when that project comes, I'll just have to find other ones. Alright, let's go ahead and test this out now. See if this is going to run. And if it'll run safely or catch on fire or get too hot or whatever the heck it might do. Or just blow up catastrophically, I suppose that is always a potential as well. Let's see. Hopefully it just works nicely. Although, that seems to be asking a lot nowadays. A lot of dust came out of here, but that's fine. Yep, it's heating up. And actually the air is quite hot. So there was some commentary by the letter H that said a heater is a heater, 1500 watts heater is a 1500 watts heater, and they all work the same. And on paper that's true. But in practice, I don't know. I feel like I've used different heaters that heat better than others. Power consumption, 1,355 watts, 11.9 amps, power factor 0.99, power is all within reason. That air coming out of there is actually really quite hot for the volume. So what the letter said was that a lot of heaters, you know, if it's more airflow, it's not as much heat, or should I say the air is not as hot, or if it's less airflow, then the air is hotter, and so it ends up being a wash. And again, in theory that's true, and in practice there is truth to that. But I do definitely feel like some heaters work better than others. And I think that this one is going to be on the better end of the spectrum. I mean, I can't really keep my hand there for more than a couple seconds. That is scalding hot. And the amount of air coming out of there is way more than I mean, that's a lot of airflow coming out of there. Way more than a basic, typical ceramic heater or what have you. That's got to be, I would say, close to 200 degrees. Let's see if we can get a temperature reading here. I've used these bathroom heaters in various locations before, and I've felt like they work exceptionally well. And if this is what's inside of there, I could see why. Hopefully this doesn't break. I don't know how much heat this can handle. Huh. It's not as hot as I was expecting. 180, 200, 207. So I guess the next question becomes, what is a typical heater output? And to that question I don't have an answer offhand, but I can go grab the heater and compare it. Yeah, that's quite hot for the amount of air being pushed. Very, very strong airflow. I really do think that this would work better than a basic heater. Well, anyways, I've got a heater here. This is a regular old ceramic heater. I feel like the fuse would almost blow as you turn it off because now the heat's sitting in there, but I doubt that's what happened. Actually, it seems like the element cooled off almost instantly. I don't feel hardly any heat coming out now. Alright, so let's set up this the whole housing is ambient temperature, except for that's a little warm, but everything else. So let's set up this heater. This is a Duracraft. This is pretty old. This is definitely old enough to be respectable. Probably 90s, all metal. You know, nice, nice heater. And the element is clear. You can see right through it. Yes, there's a little bit of dust on the fan, so the performance is not going to be 100%, but it's not blocked. So put it on fan. And it's about the same noise, maybe a little bit less. And the airflow actually is more than I was expecting for a ceramic. But you can see the airflow is very, very limited compared to the other unit. Very, very limited. Now the surface area of the element is slightly larger than the hole on this, but not by much. I mean the hole is, you know, I would say 75% of it maybe. Tip over switch is working nicely. So let's go to hello heat or high heat, and let's see what the temperature goes up to. I suspect this will put out air that's much, much hotter. Oh no. I think that this heater is busted. Only taking 2 amps. Oh no. That's kind of weird. It is going up, but it should be like 4 times that. Alright, I'm going to go get a different heater because this one is obviously not a good sample. I don't know why. Well, that's a shame. I guess this heater is busted. It only is going to 3 amps, so it's barely getting warm at all. Oh, that stinks. That's a shame. Okay. Well, let's try another one. This one is a actually, I don't know what the brand is in this one. Planas del Rey. And this one also, the element is clear. You can see the light through it. It's blocked by the blades, but you can see the element is clear. So assuming that the thing is not busted, this should be a good sample piece. It's got a really cool startup sound. And this one, I would say this is a little bit louder, slightly. And again, the airflow is, you know, really quite minimal. A very gentle airflow. There we go, 14, 20 amps, 18 amps, 15 amps, 13 amps. Oh, that's getting scorching hot. Holy mackerel. So very, very low airflow, but the air is definitely a lot hotter. This is 1,447 watts, so a little bit more power, but not by much. I actually want to get the camera out of the heat so it doesn't overheat. So let's see how hot this one gets. This one's definitely hotter. Not by much though. Looks like around 233, 235 is going to be our highest reading. Okay, so it's only a little bit hotter, like 30 or 40 degrees hotter, or whatever. Wasn't that one around like 200 or something? I don't even remember. So I don't know. This is moving very few CFMs. However, if I stand like 2 feet back from it, I still feel the air pretty hot. So let's see. If I stand a little bit back from the other one, does the air still feel hot? Because if the air is moving too fast, and this is, I guess, what the letter H was getting at, if the air is moving too fast, then it's going to cool off quickly. Wow, that's a really good heater. I don't really have a use case for heaters like this anymore, but it's good to know this is a very good one if I do need one. It's also good to know that other one is worthless. I guess it'll look nice sitting on the shelf, but that's about it. Oh, it's gone up to 74 degrees and I have the air conditioner on, so that's really saying something about this one. Not that the air conditioner down here is very powerful, it's not powerful at all. Alright, so let's try this one now. So that one was 230 degrees. I want to prop this up so that I can feel the airflow from a distance. I think that'll work. That's not going to work. I don't know why this is varying so much. No, it's definitely still working. Now it's reading 222. Now it's reading 228, which is within a couple of degrees of the other one. So it's hard to say. If I stand a couple of feet back from this one, the air is not as hot. The air is definitely cooler, but there's tons of it. I don't know, maybe it is a wash. I guess another interesting thing to do, maybe for a future video, would be to measure the heat from certain distances. I like this one though. It's fairly quiet. I think this has got to work better. There's just so much heat coming out of there. And of course, being all metal, I feel like this apparatus is pretty safe. I like this heater. I think this should really work quite well. I might end up mounting these here in the studio somewhere. I might do that. Because this would probably warm up faster than the heat pump on a really cold day. The airflow is just crazy out of this thing, and it's really whipping the air around. This is many times over the air volume of the other heaters. Well, I guess the only way to really test this is to wait for winter to come back around and use these heaters in the room here and see which one works better.